Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're doing something a bit different. I'm going to talk about how you can live for free. That's right, creating some additional income from a property that you already own. And that's what we're doing here in the basement of our property. We bought this property with partners about a year ago, and we decided to convert the basement into an apartment. We're going to be generating some income from this basement apartment that will offset a lot of the expenses that we have to pay in order to live here, right? So that's the general idea. Today we're going to talk about, the different things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing a basement apartment. There are a lot of them, and I'm going to share with you the three major things that I think you need to consider when you're going to be, planning to do a basement renovation into a secondary unit, or if you're looking to buy a house and do this type of apartment. There's a few things that you need to keep in mind. One thing that's happening in today's market, since home prices are so expensive, a lot of people are opting in for the option of creating a secondary unit in an existing property. Now, you could do this in a house that you own, that you rent out to somebody else, but what I did is I'm creating a secondary unit in the basement of the house that I currently live in, and that way we're going to be able to generate some secondary income, or some income from that secondary unit. Now, creating a secondary unit is great. It's additional income. In my area right now, basement apartments are renting anywhere from $1,600 to $2,100. We're going to try to do a fully furnished rental, so hopefully we'll be able to get towards the higher end of that. But if you want to buy a property today and create something like this, I broke down some numbers here. And to get into a bungalow in Ottawa in a desirable neighborhood, you're probably going to be needing to spend $600,000. And that's for something that needs probably a fair amount of work. And if you're going to be putting down a down payment of $120,000, that leaves you with a mortgage of $480,000 and a interest rate here of 2%, more or less. You could probably get a bit lower than this if you're going variable, but I put 2% just for the calculation. Amortized over 25 years, you're looking at a payment of $2,035 per month. So if you do end up getting that additional income of $2,100, definitely you'll be able to have a cash flow positive situation, and where your mortgage is taken care of, which is great news. If you already own the property and your mortgage payment is less than $2,035, you're in even better shape. So how do you go about creating a secondary unit in your basement? Now, I've seen people do it without going through the proper means, getting the appropriate permits, and that is possible. I've seen that done, but it's something I would recommend you stay away from, because you can end up in legal problems. If the fire chief were to hear that you're renting out your basement and the FireWall is not adequate, then you could end up facing work orders, and those, they get pretty sticky. So you want to make sure that you're getting into something that is 100% legal, that is done through the city, and there's a few things here that you need to take care of in order to make it all legal through the city. So I've got a document here from the government of Ontario. It's called Adding a Second Unit in an Existing House. Now, I'm not sure in which province or state that you're in if you're watching this video, but I'll go ahead and include a link to the Ontario document in the description of this video just for reference. But I want to talk about three major things that you need to take care of when it comes to renovating your basement apartment or creating a secondary unit in your basement. Number one is you need a way for the tenant to exit the property in case of an emergency. What we did here is we obviously have a main entrance for the tenants. That's the door from the backyard into the unit. And also what we did is we created this huge egress window that can open and will stay open if the tenant needs to get out in a rush. This is a huge window. You push out the screen, very easy screen to remove, and away you go. There's minimum requirements to the size of the exit. One could be a door, and then the second one could also be a door, but in most cases you don't have two doors to exit a basement. What you want is a minimum of 4.1 square feet for an exit, but with no dimensions being less than 18 inches. So you can't really have a 12-inch slim window that is 4 feet tall. That would give you the 4.1 square feet, or just shy of it, but you need to have 4.1 square feet with no dimensions being less than 18 inches. Number two, you need to have a certain height to your basement apartment. There is a minimum height requirement here, and it's quite low, which is nice because it does mean that most basements can accommodate a basement apartment. And the height requirements is 6 feet, 4 inches and 3/4. And that was a challenge in this basement because a lot of the ductwork that runs off from the furnace is almost at 6 feet and 6 inches, I believe. I'll show you guys. We're just up at the limit, and that was by design. We put the drywall in order to create the fire separation and also give us that 6 feet, 4 inches and 3/4. So right up against it. One of the things I would probably do different on my next one is get rid of all the ductwork. That's right, removing the forced air furnace. I know coming from a real estate agent, that always say that forced air systems add value. They do, but when you're doing the basement renovation, it does cost you a lot more labor from the contractors in order to build those bulkheads and to, cover all of that ductwork. It takes away from a lot of your ceiling height. It does transfer a lot of noise from the basement to the upstairs. It makes it difficult to regulate temperature. I'm sure it won't be that big of an issue, but I prefer two separate systems. Going with baseboard electric is one option, although that does not, it's not very cost effective. Another one would be two ductless air conditioner / heat pumps. So you've seen those before. They're just a wall unit. You can put two of them per unit, and then you've got the AC / heat pump outside, and you can regulate each unit independently, and you also have them metered separately, which would be optimal for this type of situation. Number three, a 30-minute fire barrier between both units is mandatory. Now, what does that mean, 30 minutes? Well, that means 30 minutes of burn time between units. If a fire starts in unit A, it can't jump to unit B in less than 30 minutes. How do we achieve a 30-minute fire barrier? Well, different materials are rated for different burn times. And if you have a conventional floor on the top unit, floor joists, insulation, Roxol or sound barrier insulation, you would need a minimum layer of drywall on the basement ceiling of no less than a 5/8 layer of drywall. So as you can see here, if we look inside this spotlight box that we created, there's a layer of drywall up above there. And we did this for every single cavity, that would punch through the firewall. So we built boxes around everything. So that way we've got a continuous layer of fire separation all throughout the basement, which is what the city wants us to do. Other things to keep into consideration for the fire code, if you're gonna have a furnace, then you need an in ductwork fire alarm, and I'll show you what that looks like. There you have it back there. It's that thing here. There you go. I'm still working on my camera skills, but this thing here is a fire alarm inside the ductwork, which would stop the furnace if ever there was a fire inside of the ductwork. So there you have it. Those are the main three things. I mean, obviously, if you could do a lot of the work yourself, you're going to save lots of money. Construction material prices have been going up by an alarming rate, and I'm recording this in April of 2021. I don't know if construction materials will continue to go up or if they will stabilize or maybe come back down to what they were prior to 2020. But as of right now, if you're going to be creating a basement apartment in the region of Ottawa, you should expect to spend anywhere from $80,000 to potentially $140,000, $150,000 to create one of these basement apartments. Obviously, you could go for lower end finishes if you want to stay lower. If you could do a lot of the work yourself, you'll be able to keep to a lower budget. But that would be, my estimate of what it would cost. Even higher if you're not doing any of the work yourself and you're going for higher finishes, obviously. So there you have it. Lots of things to take into consideration. There's obviously a lot of work that goes into building these units. And here we got probably about $70,000 to $80,000 worth of renovations. It's probably a lot more if you're not doing a lot of the work yourself. We did hire a lot of contractors here, install the kitchen, to help me with the drywall, the mudding, stuff like that. Those guys, I mean, that's their work, and they're a lot better at it than, a weekend warrior like myself. But I'm really happy with the design here. I'll give you a little tour just so you guys can see it. So from the main entrance, you come down these stairs, and if you walk through here, you have the kitchen on this side, which is a good little layout. We're gonna install that door. We had to take it out to install the dishwasher, but these, we still need to secure that. But all these appliances, they are miniature appliances. So this dishwasher here is 18 inches across, really functional for the space. A small fridge, which is only 60 inches in height. So it really works best in these small spaces. It makes the space seem larger. It gives you more room for cabinet space. Our stove is also very small. It's a 24-inch stove. It's right there. And we're gonna have a living room set up here. We're doing this apartment fully furnished. So anybody that moves in here won't even have to move in their furniture. It's gonna be for a short to mid-term length rental. We're hoping to find people that want to rent this place month to month. Maybe they're in between properties. They sold a house, they haven't closed on the new one, stuff like that. People that are in town for a short amount of time. So I'll bring you to, this is the kitchen. We have the living room here. Right here will be the living room. Here we're gonna do a closet, just an IKEA standalone closet with a little desk in the side on the corner here. Here we have a small bedroom. I mean, it's not that small, but got a little closet here. We're putting up a barn door for the closet. Little window here in the back. This will be the main bedroom, master bedroom. And we have the electrical panel here, all tucked away. We did get another service, so we have 2 services here, all ESA inspected, of course. Here we have another barn door that goes into the ensuite. So a nice little setup there for the master bedroom. Close it away like that. And we're also gonna have an IKEA standalone closet in this area for them. And here we have the furnace room back there. And here we have the main bathroom, which we also got miniature appliances for this space. We did get a dryer exhaust set up in the back, and it was tough getting that done. A lot of hours from our contractor Brady. He's been really good, and We worked really, really hard to get it in, but these little Bosch appliances, they don't even need it. So the dryer here on top exhausts through the front, and I don't know if we can see here in the back, but the dryer also has a drain. So I guess the fluid, the moisture condenses and it goes into the drain, and then it spits out dry air here in the front, so no dryer exhaust. And both these appliances, they hook up into, I guess that's 240 power. They send an adapter with these. You plug it into your normal dryer hookup, and then the adapter converts it so that you can plug in both washer and dryer into those. And yeah, they work really good. We're gonna see once we have a tenant in here. Small little vanity. Our plumber works some magic there and behind to get it all to fit. We're just gonna build a small bulk head around there just to enclose all of that plumbing. And nice shower. We're gonna have some glass doors here. And yeah, all set up. So there you have it. That's the way that I think a lot of people out there could go and alleviate some of the stress of having to pay a higher mortgage with these new prices that houses are being sold for right now. Everybody's situation is different. Every municipality is different. So I'm encouraging you, if you're not in Ottawa or not in Ontario, go look at what your municipality wants for a basement apartment. But I have a feeling that, you know, those three major things there are going to be pretty standard across the board in North America. The 2 means of egress, 2 exits, the fire separation, very important. And there's going to be some type of minimum height requirements if you want to keep everything legal and, you know, done correctly through the city. There's a huge advantage of doing it through the city also, is that when it comes time to resell the property, buyers are going to be reassured to know that, hey, this was done with a building permit, the proper inspections were done, and you're going to have a larger pool of buyers that are interested in your property versus if you are doing it sort of, you know, hush hush and nobody knows if this apartment is truly legal or not. Then, you know, let's say you had a potential of 20 buyers looking at your property, you might be faced with the reality of, you know, the majority of those buyers not being interested and only maybe having one that's okay with that, or 2, which would hurt your chances of generating a very good selling price for the property once the time comes to sell it. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about creating cash flow. And one last thing, having one of these, I mean, when you move out of the property, you no longer need to live in the unit above, or you've outgrown that apartment. You can hang on to this property and you could create some really good cash flow if you rent out the unit that you're living in right now. And now you're looking at not, you know, an additional income of $2,100. You might be able to generate, you know, $2,300 for the top, $2,100 for the bottom. So that's $4,300 per month. So that becomes very interesting, an additional income for your retirement days and just to support your lifestyle on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys, so there you have it. That's my breakdown of how you can live for free and add to your positive cash flow every single month. I'm having lots of fun creating these videos for you. I'm taking 15 years of my career in the real estate world as a real estate agent, property manager, a real estate investor, and I'm trying to put all of the ideas in my head into this YouTube channel, just basically dumping all the information from my brain onto this screen. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Please like this video. It's going to help other people like you discover my channel. And if you want, share this content. I mean, you can share it with your family and friends. I really think that the information found on this YouTube channel is super valuable for anybody interested in the real estate world, either as an agent or an investor. And let me know what you think. Leave some comments down in the comments section down below. We've got a great community that's forming around this channel, and it would be my pleasure to continue the conversation with you guys. Okay, I will see you guys next week on another video. Ciao.